Hey guys, how's it going? Professor Shuckle here, back with another Pokemon video. This time we are going to go over my Week 2 battle for the Draft Premier League Season 4. For those that don't know, Draft Premier League is the premier team tournament that exists. It's similar to APS Clash of Kings, but just with a bigger player pool and like a higher competition level. Like this is supposed to be the biggest team tour there is. The formats in this are Sword and Shield, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. So there's no Lil Cup for us. So we made a name for ourselves in the Lil Cup scene. But yeah, this is our time to show that we can also play Standard. Previously, I never signed up for DPL, mostly because I didn't think I'd get picked, and also because I didn't like the environment as much. But this time I finally decided to put my name in the hat and see if I would get picked up. Didn't expect to go for honestly, I wasn't even sure if I'd get picked up. The only thing really going for me was activity and support. So, maybe as a min bid, I would be a decent option. But I was nominated round 9 by Tangang and picked up by them. Tangang were captained by Max and Veno, who are like my friends from Hive. And they saw me play, they followed my Hive Kakuna season, so I guess it makes sense. And they're pretty cool people, so glad I got to team with them. Yeah. As you can also see, I'm not with my buddy Skyhorse Tamer for once, so we ended up being on different teams, which is, perfectly fine. But yeah. Anyway, so because I was a late pickup, I was my team's last spot. Unlike Clash, I knew I was not gonna play every week. In Clash, I played all 6 weeks, and then I asked to be subbed out week 7 because I was tired. But here, I was gonna get only limited opportunities to start, so I had 1 or 2 chances to show what I could do, and I had to take those chances basically. So week 1 I didn't play, but I was supporting my team and stuff as usual. But week 1 we played Young Goaters W, and we actually beat them 6-1. So my teammates all piped up, and we got off to a strong and solid start week 1 to start 1-0, which is always amazing. Week 2 we were playing Crammers, who were captained by my captain from TDT, when we won season 4. So that was pretty cool. And I got to start this week in Sword and Shield. I decided to use our Sword and Shield 2 draft, which I will show in a bit. And actually, let's hop over to that now. So yeah, our opponent for this week, we were matched up against Troy, who is a pretty well-known battler in Pokemon, in Draft League scene. His DPL record is fantastic. I believe he was 11-3 before this season, or 10-3. Something like that, something crazy. And he also did really well in Clash of Kings Season 2. He did really well in TDT Season 4. So, yeah, he's been killing it. So, that was, a good matchup to get on, your first game in DPL. Beating him would be, big for me, obviously. So, yeah, I was stoked to play him. So, yeah, let's jump into the, the team matchup. As I said, I decided to use our Sword and Shield Draft 2, which consists of Mega Diancie, Victini, Hydreigon, Ferrothorn, Crobat, Piloswine, Araquanid, and Electrode. Our opponent has a roster of Mega Gallade, Tapu Fini, Greninja, Nidoking, Celesteela, Uxie, Cradily, and Porygon. Things to note right away. My opponent only has one kind of removal, and that is Tapu Fini with Defog. And we have Webs, and they don't have Spin. So, they can obviously run Boots, but Mega Gallade cannot run Boots, so Webs do hurt it. And Webs also hurt Nidoking, which doesn't want to run Boots in a matchup like this where it prefers Life Orb. So, that's something to note. But other things to note from my opponent's standpoint is Celesteela is a huge threat. The Skyrise Special Core, the Celesteela lives you've been seeing. So the set with Autotomize, Power Herb, Meteor Beam, which takes out the Victini in one hit, Air Slash in Flash Cannon, or maybe Flamethrower. Something like that could kind of destroys my team. not gonna lie. So we have to be careful of that for sure. Yeah, Steela is a huge threat. Nidoking's a huge threat. I don't really switch into it. Nidoking can easily run Modest. Life Orb versus me because of my speed tiers. It's slower than Hydra, Victini, Crobat, Diancie anyway. And then it can easily run max HP, max speed, Modest, and still outspeed Ferrothorn, Piloswine, and Araquanid. So yeah, in Modest, Thunderbolt KOs Araquanid, even if it's like very Spadef. So yeah, Nidoking's matchup is crazy, especially if it gets the predicts right. Mega Galade's matchup, I don't have a switch in on my team. I do not have, well, my bulky Psychic is Victini, which, like, unless I run Boots, doesn't really appreciate coming into Galade, which can knock and is faster. Everything else on my team, like Diancie drops to close combat, Ferrothorn drops to close combat, Crobat drops to Zen, drops to close combat, close combat, close combat. So yeah, Feeny, we actually have a pretty decent Feeny matchup because we got Crobat, Araquanid, Ferrothorn. So I don't think a Combine, Draining Kiss, or Defense Feeny, like the Double Dance Feeny or even a Setup Feeny is good. Although Nature's Madness, I also think they have to run Defog because webs are just too good versus the team. So I feel like a Nature's Madness, Defog, Feeny is probably the best here. It could also be Scarf Trick, which is really annoying for me because Ferrothorn or Araquanid don't really want to be tricked in this matchup. Greninja is super strong. It naturally outspeeds Mega Diancie and Victini and hits them super hard with Surf. So Greninja is a huge threat. Also War Shuriken, so it kind of stops Rock Polish Diancie, which would otherwise be good here, but they have a lot of priority, which makes it hard. Nidoking, as I said, fantastic. Steela, pretty good. Uxie probably just going to come for rocks, because I think Nidoking needs 4 moves. Earth Power, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, and Ice Beam, or maybe Sludge Wave as a mid-ground between Diancie, Victini, and Hydra, because Sludge Wave hits all 3. So yeah, rocks would probably be on Uxie or Cradily. Cradily could come with like Curse, but I think rocks, if it comes, it would still prefer having rocks. So yeah, the 5 I expect the first 5 for sure, and then one of Uxie or Cradily with Uxie more likely. Probably with like U-Turn, Knock, Iron Tail, Rocks. Some sort of set like that. Maybe Thunder Wave. Some sort of support Uxie. Again, I don't think setup is going to come again. Because Diancie does get Encore this gen. So, yeah. As for me, Mega Diancie, pretty strong. Don't really have the best switch-ins to it. The best switch-ins are like Spadef, Tapu Fini. If the Steela is offensive, it doesn't really take 2 Diamond Storms or 2 Mystical Fires. Galade drops, Greninja drops. Uxie can probably eat, but with rocks up, if I hit it once with Moonblast and I switch out, next time it's gonna get 2-hit KO'd for sure. Cradily and Porygon can eat Diancie, but I don't expect them to come. Victini's matchup is fantastic. Weak Rate and Bolt Strike kind of covers this entire team. So yeah, like he doesn't have a weak rate switch in, so Victini is really strong. This is a pretty awful Hydra matchup, to be fair. Hydra is slower than Galade, Feeny, and Greninja. Slower than Galade and Greninja. So those two can pick it off easily. And Scarf Set's pretty bad because Tapu Fini just comes in and clicks Draining Kiss and heals whatever back. And so, yeah, Hydra's pretty tricky here. Ferrothorn, super important and needed. It has to be Spadef to check Feeny and Greninja. It can set hazards pretty freely once, I guess, but it also has to make sure Nido and Galade don't get out of hand and not like give it a free setup opportunity to Galade. Crobat, pretty good as well. Its speed tier is fantastic here. It's the fastest thing on the field. So yeah, and like Super Fang hits everything hard and brings it down into range of Victini and Diancie, which is pretty solid. This is the worst Piloswine matchup you could possibly ask for. Galade, Feeny, Greninja, Steela all just destroy Piloswine, so it's not gonna come. Araquanid, pretty strong again. Spadef checks Greninja, Feeny kinda checks Nidoking as well. Webs obviously are pretty good in this matchup. And then Electrode actually has a pretty good matchup here for once, because there's 2 water types, Steela and Foul Play to hit the Mega Galade. So, and again, Electrode's speed tier is fantastic, right? And it gets free Volt Switch, especially once Nidoking dies. And it does get a fast taunt to stop any form of setup. So, yeah. yeah, so without much further ado, let's jump into the team I'm bringing. So starting off, we're bringing Wictini, which is Choice Scarf, Adamant, with enough speed for Nidoking, so we're hitting 296 speed because Nidoking hits 295. This was just because there's been a lot of matches in DPL already where speed creeps have been exposed. So I was like, I need Wictini to be able to kill. So it's pretty important I outspeed Nidoking just in case. So I made it 296. I could have made it bulkier. Like I could have run almost like 80 HP, which helps me take on Sneak, Gallade, and War Shuriken a lot better with the bulk. But yeah, I decided it was just safe to creep Feeny and Nidoking at 295. This also lets us weak create and then weak create again on like Nidoking or Tapu Fini if we know they're not Scarf, even after the speed drop. Bolt Strike is obviously really good, especially once Nidoking dies. Bolt Strike is pretty free because it hits the Feeny, Greninja, and Steela. U-Turn is just for momentum. And then Headbutt is just to kill the Feeny and Nidoking, even maybe Gallade, without taking the defense or speed F drop, which can be huge. Next up, make a Diancie with max speed to speed tie with the Gallade. Enough special attack to kill like the Gren, even with like the HP or whatever. And then the rest in attack, because we want Diamond Storm to be strong. So basically what we're trying to do here is to catch, if they invest heavily on one side, on like Feeny, Uxie, or Steela, we can judge that with Moonblast and then try to catch them on their weaker defense with Diamond Storm, which is still powerful. Yeah, and hopefully pick off a surprising 2-hit KO with it. So that's why we have the investment to, I think Diamond Storm does like 45, I think, to like Steela. So it's a roll to 2-hit KO after rocks. So that's pretty big, and like Uxie and stuff, and defense boost is obviously great because if we get the defense boost, we don't have to switch on Gallade because CC will not kill us. So yeah, Moonblast just hits everything else. Mystical Fire hits the Steela and lower special attack, so it's pretty good mid-ground to hit Feeny, Steela, Nido, even Uxie, although Uxie would probably be Iron Tail. And then Psychic over Earth Power because they're the same power and they hit Nidoking super effectively. And but Psychic also gives me intel on the Uxie spread as well as Feeny or Steela set, which Earth Power does not. Earth Power does not give me any info on Steela or Uxie, but Psychic does. So yeah, that's why we're running Psychic. That's the set, all out attacking Diancie. Next up we have Crobat, which is like Stall Breaker, which is main job is to get Chip, everything in range of Diancie and Victini, and maybe even Electrode. So we're running Brave Bird, obviously, which with enough attack EVs to kill no HP Gallade. We have enough speed to creep a Greninja creeping Mega Diancie. So we're running 360, just like a little safe, because Greninja would be running like 352 or something for Mega Diancie. The Spadaf actually helps us live a modest Life Orb Ice Sheer Force boosted Ice Beam from Nidoking. So we can actually Super Fang it and then Brave Bird take it out, which is pretty crazy. Although we'll die in the process, but we will take out Nidoking, and that frees up Diancie and Electrode a lot, even Victini to click Bolt Strike. Taunt is to stop the Steela from autotomizing, the Uxie from clicking rocks, Feeny from defogging, and Roost is just for longevity. Super Fang's pretty free here, 50% chip on Uxie is pretty good. They don't really have anything that wants to take in the hit on Super Fang, because Super Fang into Brave Bird kills Greninja, kills Gallade for sure, kills Nidoking. Doesn't kill Feeny, but I can taunt the Feeny, and Feeny can't really do much back to us. So, yeah. Araquanid, which is heavy duty boots. Crobat's also heavy duty boots, so we don't take any rocks chip. Araquanid also heavy duty boots, so we don't take rocks chip. Water bubble, so we hit as hard as possible with liquidation. The attack investment is to like 40% or something to steal, 50. I don't remember what it was exactly for, but yeah, we're basically max HP, max def. The IVs are so that we underspeed -1 Nidoking in Trick Room in case they go for Trick Room, because in one of the mocks someone brought Trick Room Mega Gallade and Trick Room Uxie. So yeah, to help with that, Liquidation because it hits super hard. Leech Life hits the Greninja and Uxie and recovers health. Also hits the Gallade neutrally. Sticky Web because their only removal is Feeny, and Sticky Webs is really good versus Gallade and Nidoking. And Toxic, so I know they have Terrain, so the point of this is they're switching to Arac when it should be Feeny, because Arac when it cannot do anything to Tapu Fini. So what we want to do is as we click webs, they're probably likely going to defog right away. But in this gen, defog gets rid of terrain. So if we click toxic, we'll cast the Feeny on the toxic. And if it's lacking taunt, we can ensure we end that exchange with our webs up. So yeah, like that's the whole idea behind the set. Obviously, it's a little tricky because Gallade, Feeny, Uxie, and Porygon all get magic codes. So I have to scout for that and make sure they don't have magic code and, you know, throw our webs back on us. But yeah, Arachnin is also my dedicated lead. It leads off pretty well here. Nothing can kill us. Gallade Stone Edge does not kill us. Thunderbolt from Nidoking, I think it's, yeah, if it's modest, it's a roll to 2-hit KO. Steela cannot kill us with Meteor Beam. Greninja and Feeny do like no damage. Uxie cannot kill us. So yeah, it's my dedicated lead. If they lead like Greninja or if they lead like Greninja, I'll probably just click webs right away. Even if it's Feeny, maybe I'll try to click webs, even if they go for like natures or whatever. But yeah, next up we have Electrode, heavy duty boots as well, so we don't take any hazard chip because they do have Greninja with spikes and T-spikes and rocks. Enough speed for the Greninja, so we have 378, and then we have max HP, max Spadef basically, and we're running Volt Switch, Thunder Wave, Foul Play, Thunderbolt. This does not die to a +1 Meteor Beam into Flash Cannon, into Flamethrower, I believe. It just lives. The point is, we switch this in on Steela and Thunder Wave it, and make sure that that offensive Steela set does not 6-0 us on the spot. Volt Switch is good for momentum. Their only ground is Nidoking. So if I Super Fang, Nidoking also drops to 2 foul plays, by the way. That's why Super Fang is really important on Nidoking. And any little bit of chip on Nidoking also lets me pick it off with Diancie, because I think Diancie does like 76 to 90% to max HP Nidoking. But anyway, back to Electro. Volt Switch, Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave also can be good versus the Gallade, and that takes out the speed tie with Diancie. Foul Play hits the Gallade super hard, does like 50% damage, and then Thunderbolt can pick off Feeny, Greninja, Celesteela. So Aftermath, in case we have to sack it to Gallade, because we basically are sacking to Gallade every time, and we just have to manage our sacks correctly. And yeah, Volt Switch, Thunder Wave, Foul Play, Thunderbolt is the set. Electro definitely put in a lot of work in the mocks. Yeah, like once Nidoking goes, Thunderbolt can just, yeah, put in work. And last but not least, we have Ferrothorn with the Aka Berry, so that we can knock the Nidoking. Like, we stand on the Nidoking as a lure and knock it off, which is pretty big. Knockoff also puts it in Psychic range. And then once it's knocked off, Nidoking's damage output is severely reduced, so that's good. But anyway, we are again max special defense because this is a Greninja check. So yeah, max HP, max Spadef basically. Lead Seed for recovery, knockoff to get rid of items, Power Herb from Steela, Weakness Policy maybe, Nidoking's Life Orb, Lefties from, Feeny, or like Boots from Greninja. Power Whip hits the Nidoking, the Greninja, the Feeny, the Gallade pretty hard. I think it's almost 2-hit KO on Gallade. And then Rocks, because Rock's chip is really good on Feeny, Uxie. Greninja helps with the Diancie rolls a little, and Steela as well. So yeah, that's the team. As I said, dedicatedly it's going to be Araquanid. Let's jump into the matchup and see what he brought. So our opponent decided to bring a team of Mega Gallade, Tapu Fini, Celesteela, Nidoking, Uxie, and Greninja. Pretty much the 6 I expected. As I said, my lead was always going to be Araquanid. The best case lead scenario for me is Greninja, because I can just click webs. If he clicks taunt, it's still fine. But and if he clicks taunt, that means he's probably not carrying Shuriken because I think he needs Dark Pulse, Surf or Hydro, and like I would think he would need Ice Beam for Hydra. So if I say taunt, it wouldn't be Shuriken, which makes my Victini a lot better. So yeah, I decided to lead Araquanid as he does lead Nidoking. So here, nobody in the mocks actually led Nidoking versus me. The leads were like Feeny, Uxie, Gallade, and Gren. So I'm really not sure about the Nidoking lead because Victini lead for me would obviously put him on the back foot right away, right? Yeah, Nidoking lead kind of threw me off my game plan a little. And I kind of started worrying about like what if it was Sash, like Rock, physical Rock Slide or something to take out my Araquanid, and then he could just defog later. So I thought damage on this was like just to see like what he would do to Liquidation. So I decided to just click Liquidation. Obviously he doesn't kill me with Thunderbolt. But if he was Sash, obviously Rock Slide, if he was physical, Life Orb, not Life Orb, but like Sheer Force Rock Slide would definitely 2-hit KO us. So I decided just Liquidation. He goes Feeny, and we do nothing, as you can see. Here I knew it was going to be Taunt or Nature's Madness, so I just went straight to Crobat, as he does click Nature's Madness, but which is fine, because Feeny is not going to kill us. He also didn't reveal an item, so he's either Boots, or he's like a Resist Berry, or yeah. But here, anyway, I clicked this free Super Fang as he does go Uxie, which is really good because now that's one of his Diancie answers gone. Like, that's weakened. Here, I don't really want to risk a 50-50 in case he clicks Psychic. I guess I could have clicked Roost, but I guess he could have clicked Knock or he could have clicked Rocks. So I wasn't really sure what he wanted to do. If he wanted to click Rocks, I could actually just go into Araquanid and try to get my own webs up. So I go Araquanid as he does click U-turn, which is fine, and goes into Gallade. Again, I could webs here, but this could bulk up, and that could be a pain because Crobat wouldn't kill them, and he would definitely take me out with +1 Stone Edge. So I decided to just Liquidation again to see the damage as he clicks Knockoff. So yeah, this turn I believe I clicked webs, but he clicks Rock Slide and takes us out, which is fine. So we don't get webs up. But we do have the chip we need on Gallade and Uxie. So, but not getting webs up was kind of like, obviously I didn't play that as well as I think. Like, I think I overthought the turns a little. But yeah, anyway, I decided to go hard into Crobat now. And I decided to click Roost because I know he was going to switch. He wasn't going to give me Gallade. He goes into Steela. I decided to taunt this, just in case this was Leech or Auto, like this covered both, as he clicks Heavy Slam and does 55. So he is physical and he is like invested. If he was not, we would have not been 2-hit KO'd by Heavy Slam. So this is really unfortunate because again, now it's a 50-50. Because he's probably Earthquake to cover Victini and Diancie, and if I click Roost, Earthquake's going to do a lot of damage. But yeah, I decided to just go Electrode thinking he might Heavy Slam again because I thought he didn't lose anything from it, but he clicked the Earthquake and catches me there, but we do live. But yeah, but Steela's taunted and obviously we can Volt Switch here. So I didn't think he would stay in. Also we could Thunder Wave or like, you know, Thunderbolt would still do a lot of damage where it wouldn't be able to check Diancie. So I thought the Nidoking was coming in. Since there's no HP Ice, Electro cannot touch the Nidoking. So I doubled back into Crobat as he does decide to go Nidoking, which is really good because as I said, I need some sort of chip on this so Diancie picks this off. So I decided to click hard Super Fang again and bring it down to 50% as he clicks Ice Beam and takes me out. Things are looking dire for sure. We've lost 2 Mons and Electrode's gone. But Diancie and Victini's offensive matchup is pretty solid here, so every time I can get them in, I can hopefully get a kill. Also, if this dies, Electrode can pick up a kill as well and like be annoying with Volt Switch. So, but anyway, here I decided to go Diancie, Mega Evolve, and click Psychic. As he goes Uxie, and we click Psychic and get this Pidef drop, which is kind of huge actually, because without it, I don't think this died. But yeah. Like, obviously if this didn't die, I would go Electrode, because obviously Electrode didn't do anything else in the game anyway. But yeah, I get this Spedev drop, which means Moonblast picks this off, and I know he's not Scarf, so I don't have to scout. I click Moonblast, take it out. Yeah, just kind of huge, but I wouldn't say it was game changing because he did have 5 months left still. So yeah, you can't say like that one turn set him back a lot, I would say. But yeah, in comes to Steela. I go back in. I go into Ferrothorn this time as he does click Auto Tomize. Because he's physical, he's not Power Herb. So I thought this might be weakness policy or like a berry to for Victini. So I decided to click. I also thought he may not have Flamethrower then if he's running a physical, maybe his Acrobatics or something. So I go Ferrothorn as he clicks Flamethrower, but we are Akka, so we chew, and I click Knockoff and get rid of its Akka Berry, which is cool. Also, my Victini does outspeed Celesteela because of my Scarf, like Modest or Adamant Steela, and I believe this was Adamant. So he clicks Flamethrower again, but we choose, so I click Lead Seed and get some sort of health back. And now I go into Electrode, and he clicks Flamethrower again, and picks it off, but I can freely go into Victini. Bolt Strike does kill it, so I just go for Bolt Strike. I didn't think it would go into Nidoking because I could have easily clicked Recreate there. So I click Bolt Strike as Feeny used to be Wakan Berry, which is fine because it dies to the next one. Here I really wanted to double into Diancie, thinking the Nidoking would come in. But I also thought the Feeny's job was just like the Feeny was here literally to defog the webs away, in my opinion. And like Nature's Pharaoh maybe so that it comes in range of Nidoking even through Akka. Or like, you know, Specs Dark Pulse range or something. So yeah, I don't know. Like I didn't think he would save the I've thought about switching, but then I also thought he didn't really need the Feeny at all. You could just sack this and then go, you know, Nidoking or Gren. But he makes the Nidoking play as a do Bolt Strike into it. I'm obviously Scarf, so I'm going to switch out, and I decide to sack off Ferrothorn here. Basically, he does click Sucker, so that was interesting that he read Sucker there, but yeah, I go Ferrothorn and decide to sack it as he clicks Earth Power. And I go Diancie, because basically, I'm really in the back, right? Because he has 5 months, and I have 2, and one of them is Scarfed. But at this point, Gallade dies to Bolt Strike, Feeny dies to Bolt Strike, Steela dies to Bolt Strike, Greninja, if it's not Wakan, dies to Bolt Strike. So, all I need for that is this Nidoking to go off, to be taken out, and I can win with Victini, right? Yeah, so that's the and so he should preserve Nidoking because as long as Nidoking's alive, I can never lock into Bolt Strike, correct? And if I lock into Recreate, he just has to let me Recreate like twice, and then Greninja will pick me off because of the defense and Speedef drops and speed drop. So, but like at this point, this was my only play to go off the choke that he will sack. So I decided to click Psychic. As he stays, I'm gonna click Sucker Punch. Not really sure why. I think he was trying to get it in range of Greninja in case I was like bulky Diancie, I guess. Or maybe Earthquake from Steela if I was, yeah, like if I was not negative defense, but I'm actually negative defense. Yeah, I'm not really sure why he clicked Sucker Punch. Like, he can get staying in because he revealed Sucker because I could be Rock Polish. And as he switches out, I could have technically won because he couldn't go Steela because I was going to click Psychic, and Psychic into Mystical Fire took out the Steela. So, yeah, I'm not really sure on the Sucker Punch, but he does sack Nidoking, which means my Victini still has a chance to win as long as Greninja is not Scarf. In comes the Steela, I click Mystical Fire and do 62%. As he just clicks Earthquake and takes me out, which is fine. And now I have to hope Victini that Greninja is not Scarf, and or like Sash Shuriken or something, like Sash Work Up Shuriken with like Sneak Glade, something like that. But he goes Gren, he's not Scarf, and we hit Connect with Bolt Strike, and Gren is gone. In comes Gallade. This is not a roll. They didn't have any bulk on Gallade, so yeah, we win with Victini. this is not the best game I've played at all. Like, I played much better than this. This was definitely not like a clean win, I would say. As in, like, I could have definitely played a lot better. It's pretty clean in terms of hacks. I would say the only hacks was the spit F drop, but again, it didn't really matter because if he didn't sack Nidoking, this endgame wouldn't have happened. So it was pretty big choke from my opponent there. Obviously, nerves get the best of every player. So, like, if you follow sports, the best team or the best player necessarily do not always win. So yeah, as for me, I was really nervous into this because our team was actually down 0-3 and I was game 4. So if I lost, we lost the series, right? So there was a lot of pressure to win and keep the series alive. So I was really nervous. But yeah, like, what I can say from this though is, even though I played like I had a shaky start and middle game, I guess. I knew my WinCon was like him sacking Nidoking and then Victini just bolt striking to victory, and I played for it. So even though like it was looking dire, I still played to my WinCon, which is like the best you can hope for in an endgame, that you recognize your WinCon and your opponent's WinCon and you play to your WinCon. So yeah, I was still proud of my endgame, I think, because like that was the only way I could have win, was if he sacked Nidoking and then I was able to bolt strike away. So yeah, happy I was able to pick up a win for my team. Unfortunately though, it was not enough to win the week because we ended up losing the week 5-2, which is a little unfortunate, but yeah, so it was 1-1. But we did week 3. I wasn't picked to play, but my teammates piped up to beat Galarian Stampede 5-2. So we go into mids 2-1, which is pretty solid and second on the table. I can show that too. Yeah, as you can see, we're second on the table and actually have the tied most wins so far, which is pretty cool. Like, so we've been doing well and like we're really gelling well and like being active and stuff. So definitely enjoying my time in DPL and it's been fun so far. So yeah, I'll be back next time if I play with with like the replay for that and the matchup and stuff. So yeah, until then, I'll see you and bye. I'm recording this when it's like just before Christmas, so yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all my viewers. So yeah, bye, and I'll see you next